Welcome, World Language Educators. On behalf of GWATFL, I would like to say thank you for being here. This is our first GWATFL Tips live webinar. Today's webinar is entitled Create, Teach, Assess, and Share with Seesaw in the World Language Class. My name is Luis de Ocares, GWATFL President, and I will be hosting this webinar along with Vicky Mason, GWATFL Vice President, and she's going to be a moderator as well. And just to let you know, this webinar will be recorded, and a link to the recording will be posted later on in our YouTube channel under the GWATFL Tips channel that we launched a short time ago. So this is scheduled to be about 45 minutes, and that time is a time for presentation, and then we'll go into breakout rooms, and there will be questions and answers. And you are encouraged to submit your questions during the webinar using the chat feature on your screen, and our moderator will organize the questions, and then we'll share them with the presenter to be answered during the question and answer time. I would like to thank all of the generous donors who have made this GWATFL Tips live possible. So thank you so very much for your contributions, which allow us to advance in our mission to provide professional development and advocacy opportunities for the world language community. So thank you again so much for your support. Our presenter is Glenda De Hoyos. She teaches Spanish in grades preschool through second grade at the Langley School in McLean. She has been a presenter in ACTFL and in GWATFL conferences, and she's always looking for ways to learn, grow, and be challenged. So we're very excited to have Glenda with us today. I teach middle school, and I usually get very, very good ideas from our colleagues in elementary school. So Glenda, thank you for sharing your time with us. Welcome to GWATFL Tips Live.
Thank you so much, Luis, and thank you, Vicky, and the GWATFL community for giving me the opportunity to connect and share my passion for creating engaging, meaningful, and joyful activities for my students with other educators. And thank you to all of you participants of today's webinar. I know that maybe half of you are my family, so that's why we might be unmuting everybody so we don't have people in the middle of this presentation. Glenda, Glenda, Glenda. So if you see any excitement that is way out of the league, that's my family, okay? So my name is Glenda De Hoyos. I am from Puerto Rico, and these are some of the places that you can find me, and make sure that you contact me and that we can collaborate together. I am super excited for today's opportunity, and we will like if all participants can share during or after this webinar on social media using the hashtag GWATFL Tips Live, and you can tag GWATFL and myself. These are some of the outcomes and goals for this webinar, and although I'm not reading them all, the main idea is that all participants can learn different ideas, how to use the new features, and get the necessary resources in order to use the Seesaw platform to achieve the goals of our world language classes. We will leave with sample activities and the necessary tools to either start or continue the Seesaw journey with a better understanding of all the features and the endless creative possibilities. But as a teacher, this is my main goal. I have been blessed to have had the help, support, and guidance of many extraordinary teachers during my teaching career in different goals. And I can't stress enough how important it is to do the same. I'm not here because I am the most knowledgeable on Seesaw or technology or even world language teaching, but because I have an enormous passion for learning and teaching, and I know that the best way to learn is by sharing what we know with others and create a community of collaboration. That is exactly my main goal, that teachers using Seesaw in the world language classroom can connect, help each other, support, and ease our path. I'm proposing that we use the hashtag SeesawWL, Seesaw World Language, when sharing activities to ease each other workload. And I'll be explaining a little more about this initiative later. But first, I want to share with you this image of the bestseller book, Essentialism by Greg McNeil. In this image, we can see two circles, both with the word energy written inside them. On the left one, there are many short arrows coming out of the circle. On the right one, there is only one long arrow. I frequently revisit this image, this book, its message, and these quotes, because although I know that my energy, my resources like time, patience, focus, and even willpower are limited, I sometimes forget it. And I fall in the trap of thinking that doing more, getting more, knowing more is the right thing to do. However, this image is a simple but very powerful reminder that less but better of what is important, of the essential, and of what really matters is what, when used wisely, take us farther, deeper, longer, and make us stronger. And I started this webinar with this reminder because you are about to listen to many, many ideas that will be added to the endless list that you already have, and the overwhelming amount of things that everyone is saying that now more than ever we must do. I don't know about you, but during this summer, I've been listening to now more than ever, we need to do this and that. And when we prioritize all, we are not prioritizing anything. So I think that we need to release ourselves from the pressure to do it all. So I'm asking you to start this journey with the essentialism mindset and take from what I'm gonna share what you need to make that line longer, deeper, and stronger. In my case, one of the essential parts of teaching and learning is creating joyful activities for me and my students. That's why I'm gonna start with this audio so you can listen to one of my students leaving me a lot of messages one gray morning, very sad day during distance learning, and you will see how Seesaw gives students the opportunity to have a voice.
I love Spanish a lot. It is very fun. And do we have any activities yet? I want to see a lot of activities. I am very excited. Yo extrañas en español. I miss you, Miss Glenda. Hoy extraños, Miss Glenda.
So here you can see that Seesaw gives students the opportunity to have a voice. And believe me, I remember this voice and I need this voice usually on long days. I'm adding this slide with the backward design graph and information as a reminder that the most important and essential thing to have in mind when creating activities for your students is the desired results. Those results should be the ones guiding your process and not the other way around. And I have to admit that I've totally been in the position of saying, oh, wow, how cool is this feature? I'm gonna do this activity and the cool fonts and colors and all of that. But that is important as long as we remember that the most important thing is the desired results in our students. As world language teacher, we know this is the path to proficiency, and this poster is amazing, but I created this other poster, the Seesaw Proficiency Path, to show that I am aware that today in this webinar, we have teachers that are all over this path, from the ones that have never used Seesaw, so they are in the novice level, to teachers that might even know more than me that I'm presenting. I've been working hard to create mini tutorials on how to use the new features for our classes. And these tutorials, at the same time that will show you the features that you can use, will show you ideas of activities you can do. If you are in the novice low, don't worry, because I prepare a curated list of videos that will help you with all the basics, in addition to everything that I'm going to be sharing during the webinar. If you have many ideas and experience and you are in the advanced, you are in the right place, because all of us in this community are going to need you. Okay? So let's get started. Before I actually start, I want to let you know that Seesaw has some certifications that in the resources you're going to receive, there is a link that you can visit. And they start with basic, pioneer, Seesaw ambassador, and Seesaw certified educator. In my case, I am a Seesaw ambassador, and because of that, I have access to some training materials that I will be using in addition to the one I prepare during this webinar. So you might have slides or ideas or information from Seesaw 101, Seesaw 201, What's New in Seesaw, and Seesaw Connect courses, okay? So the first thing that I'm gonna share with you is how to find activities. If you are new to Seesaw, one of the wonderful things that Seesaw has is a community library where you can find activities and use them. I prepared this short video so you can see how you can find the activity, copy, edit, and use it. And I, on purpose, didn't select a world language activity so you can see that you can find activities from any teacher.
Once you are in the Seesaw Community Library, you can find activities of World Languages teachers, but you can find activities of all other teachers, especially if they are templates. You can just save, copy, and edit, and use them for your class. Here, I'm gonna click on this activity of Chris. Chris is someone you should follow on Twitter and on YouTube. He has amazing tutorials and ideas, and I will be sharing his contact with you. I will click the three dots, copy and edit activity. And then the activity open, and I can actually change, for example, fotos de mi día, or you can do whatever you want in the language that you teach. And you can do the same with the template. The template is already done, and I can just click here and change to Spanish. Hoy trabajé en. And then just like that, you can customize, and you are not having the double trouble of working on something that it's already created.
So as you can see, it's very easy to access activities that are done by other teachers in the community library. Once you have an account in Seesaw, you have your library, the school library, if you are in a school that everybody is using Seesaw, or the community library. This is how the World Language Library looks right now if you narrow your search. As of now, there are 2,798 activities. And in my research, I found activities from all languages and all levels. For example, this is a Spanish for high school. This is a French that is elementary and middle school. I found activities in Arabic, Chinese, and a wide variety. It is difficult to find specific to what you want, but it is feasible. Now, second thing that I'm gonna tell you, how to share activities. And I'm gonna explain by using the hashtag SeesawWL or World Language. You can find activities on the Seesaw community like I just showed you. However, I need you to know that as of today, only Seesaw ambassadors or certified educators can submit activities to that library that I show you. However, all teachers, after you create an activity, you can share with other teachers without submitting it to that community library. You can send them by email or you can share a link. So one of my initiatives that I am hoping we can start after this webinar is that if you do a great activity and you share it using the hashtag Seesaw World Language, other teachers like me and like all the participants can find those activities and save them and use them for themselves. Okay. Now, before I tell you to share, I want you to know that there are certain guidelines or things that you should share and things that you shouldn't. Share activities that you created, and if you share activities that other teachers created, make sure you give them credit. And of course, what we want is for you to share your most dynamic, engaging, and creative original activities. What not to share? If the activity that you created has copyrighted material, it is recommended that you don't share it. For example, I can buy a Mundo de Pepita book on TPT, Teacher Pay Teachers, and because I might be blended, I can insert it in my Seesaw activity. I shouldn't be sharing that activity because I paid for that activity and it is copyrighted. Also, another thing to have in mind when you share activities with other teachers is that they shouldn't have personal information of the school you work, pictures of your students, or anything that is personal. Okay? How to share? When you have an activity like this, you go to the 3 dots that are underneath. And remember, you're gonna receive videos and tutorials to do this on your own time and practice. You click Share Activity, and this is gonna pop. These are all the options that you have. You can share to your school library. You can email to teachers. However, this is within the Seesaw platform. So if you don't know the email or the contact of the teacher and the username within Seesaw, you cannot use that. And then share on social media or get activity link is what we want. If you have that and you share it, you send it by mail, or you tweet it or share it in social media using this hashtag, we can all benefit and collaborate with each other, okay? Now, the most important thing, let's read. How to create activities, tips, tricks, and tutorials. So, these are 10 of the things that I am going to share with you, either with videos or images. As I said, all of this information and ideas are gonna be in the presentation that you're gonna receive after this webinar. So don't stress. Now, creating a new activity. You click Create New Activity, and this is the template, just in case you haven't seen how to create an activity. This is the template you're gonna see, where you're gonna have a space for a title, the name of your activity. You can write students' instructions. It has an amazing feature where you can actually read so students can listen to your voice instructions. You have the option of adding multimedia instructions. This is wonderful because there you can add YouTube videos, your own videos. You can add another template with an example or anything you want. And then finally you add the template where the student is gonna work. Now, this is an activity I did, and I want you to look carefully if you can, that I am writing a little weird. And it is because Seesaw has some icon shortcuts for you to add in your instructions and help students with the commands they are gonna do. So for example, I put tap the add button to start the activity. Now, this is how I write it, When I publish, this here in the blue, dark blue square is how it looks. In the resources folder, you are going to receive this so you can practice how to add those icon shortcuts when you do the instructions. Not only you're going to receive this as a PDF, but I also added a folder with all of those icons with transparent background so you can actually use them and put them in your activities. And you're going to see how I do that in some of the examples that I'm going to share with you, okay? Now, this is another idea that I want you to have in mind. No walls, no problem. Many of us might teach blended or distance learning, and we're not going to have class walls where we put so many resources to support the learning of our students. The great thing that Seesaw has is that all of those things that you usually have in your classroom, you can add them to your activity. So you can add word banks and word walls, and maybe during that week you did an anchor chart with the lesson, take a picture, and that you can add it when you do your activity. For example, in this activity, ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? They were gonna write when is their birthday. I added all the month. So when they are writing, they have that support. And depending on the age of your students, you can add whatever they might need to scaffold and help them, okay? Perfect. Now, in Seesaw, you can actually do templates in the creative tool, but you can also use Google Slides, which I recommend because if you are used to using Google Slide, you might have more, you can do it quicker. So I have a video here to show you how to upload a Google Slide template.
How to create an activity using Google Slides as a template. I will click Create New Activity. I'm gonna go directly to Add Template for Students' Responses. I will upload my template, click Select from Google Drive. It will open, and it's always recommended that you either know exactly the name of your file or that you have recently used it for easy access. Otherwise, you can be here a long time looking for it. So there is my template. I did it on Google Slide. And the good part is that you have this template and students cannot move anything that is there. Now I need movable things to add for students to interact with them as they ask and answer my 2 questions. So I will go to the camera and click Upload. It is also recommended that you have a folder with all the clip arts or pictures you want to upload, and this will save you time. I already did that, so I have all the animals I want to upload here. I will do it all, and there they are. I will reshape them,
Resize
put them down here. I'm gonna try to do it really quick. That way, students are going to be able to either move them as they talk. Like I had some students that they actually were moving them as they were saying the name of the animals and answering the questions. I have other students that did move them all and then they answer the questions.
So I want you to see how it looks. And this is one of the responses of one of my first graders to this activity.
¿Qué animales en el bosque lluvioso? En el bosque lluvioso hay lagartijos, coquis, cotora.
So there you see, in this case, the student moved everything and then clicked the microphone and recorded himself. I had other students that They recorded themselves and they use one of the tools to do it at the same time. You will have the link to this activity that you can add and save to your own library in the Google presentation that I'm gonna send you. Just click there and it will open, okay? Now, one of the amazing new features that Seesaw has, and they just released, is draw and record across multiple pages. And you're gonna hear me say a lot that the new features. If you are new, you don't have a problem because everything is new. But for teachers that have been using Seesaw, they just released during summer some new features. And it is important, number one, that students have the latest version so they can use these updates, okay? So I'm gonna show you this really cool new update.
I'm gonna record myself doing one new feature that Seesaw has, so you can see how wonderful it is for you to record instructions or any other video or audio that you want students to see in order for them to complete the activity, okay? So before you submit your activity, the one that you created, you're gonna tap the mic. And I'm gonna just do a quick instructions, not the ones that I'm gonna add to the activity, so you can see how it works. Hola, ¿cómo te llamas? Paso número 1. Watch the video. Click in this link so you can see the video. Paso número 2. Answer the question in page 2. Click the link. It will take you right to page 2. ¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo. You can use any of these tools to answer. I'm gonna use the globe pen. And then of course you're gonna just do this really quick.
That's just a model.
Okay, this is not what I'm gonna do if I'm teaching. Then I go to page 1 again, and step 3, record yourself using the mic and add the audio here, asking and answering your question. Then once you click done, this is gonna appear, recording added to new page. So once you click done, a new page is added, and now page 1 has the whole recording that I just did. So the students can actually see. Do a quick instructions, not of course, the ones that I'm gonna add to the activity, so you can see how it works. Voila. And then what used to be page 1 is now page 2, what used to be page 2 is now page 3. If that video is correct and you don't want to make any changes, you make sure that you go and
So I'm gonna just stop here. You can see the whole video later, but I wanna let you know that that feature is not only a great tool for us, the teachers, because you can completely teach a lesson by going step by step. You can also do instructions for a project, but students can also do that. So if you have maybe middle or high school students, that feature is amazing because they could be, for example, working on a project that has different levels, reading, writing, and they can press that and explain everything, and it would be recorded for the teacher to see. Now, you also have this video to lock and unlock objects. I'm gonna play it, and you can you have access to this activity as well. ¿Cuántos años tienes? But I'm gonna move to this template that I did using the new features, because I thought this is something that all of us in the world language could use. It's a blank template to promote communication, and I'm just gonna show you some of the features with the video, and then you will receive it and you can adapt to whatever you needed, and it will promote all of the communication. Let me go back here. Let's go.
Hi. I created this template for teachers to be able to customize to their needs, depending if they want to use it to teach new content, to use it as a practice, a review, or it can also be a prepare for an assessment. I included a page for different activities. Here you can see that if they click here, they will go to page 2, where you can add a listening activity. By clicking here, you can go back to the main page, where you can click in this link for a reading activity. You can also upload here and customize instructions or add any resources that the student might need. Here you can go back to main page. So you can go to page 4 in order for you to add a writing activity. Instead of going back to page 1, I also added in each of the pages a next page link. So you can click here and go to the last page, where you can add a speaking activity, where students can either record themselves with a microphone or using the video. They can also upload files of their work, and that work can be videos done with other apps like Puppet Pulse, Chatterbox, or they can simply upload pictures or videos done in other apps.
So this is a great template, and it's completely editable, and you can keep using and reusing. One of the things that I am planning to do in the new year is do templates that I can reuse, and that way we don't have to complicate, doing so many new things. There is a link to that activity. And then another idea I want to share with you is using social media templates as a hook. Students love to be on those platforms, speaking, doing videos, doing pictures, writing. So let's use it for our own benefit. I am preparing, they are not completely done, some templates that I will share with you so you can have YouTube. And for example, they can do a video showing a response activity to any of your lessons. An Instagram post. In Instagram now, you can do a Instagram video, a picture, you can write explaining, and using tweets too. For example, in this case, in my second grade, we do a couple of things that can be used with this tweet, and it's an authentic resource. It is from the soccer team. They are saying happy birthday to one of the players, so it's an amazing thing that they are gonna read an authentic resource. They can actually click in that video to see who is that player, and then you can just add a different questions and things, and at the end, they can do their own tweet. Ideas like this are things that we can use to promote language and communication at the same time that we are keeping our students interested in the activity. Now, this is actually a lesson that I teach. I did this with the new features so you can see. And I think that as teachers, we're gonna have a lot of activities, and it depends in us if we're gonna use them as practice or as an assessment at the end of a unit.
This activity is a great way of assessing a unit or a skill after students have had enough time to practice. I'm gonna share with you really quick what I did so you can see that sometimes an activity can be edited for different levels. So for example, in this Venn diagram, I added clipboards for students to be able to move them to where they go by answering ¿qué hay en el yunque? ¿Qué hay en el bosque Prince William? And of course we have been practicing. And then they will drag and drop and say it. En el bosque Prince William hay oso. En el bosque del yunque hay coquí. En los dos hay árboles. Now, this activity, once students are in a higher level and they are able to read, you can do it with words. So in this case, for example, they will drag and drop. En el bosque Prince William hay osos. En el bosque, el yunque, hay coquíes. En los dos hay animales. And things like this are easy activities that you can customize and, for example, use for this unit and then keep using and reusing for other units as well.
Yes. In that case, I did that template on Google Slides. And the good thing is that once you have that, you duplicate your Google slide and you can use it for a variety of different units. And then you are not really creating something from scratch again. Now, another of the ideas that I want or features that I love is that you now can give feedback with a video. I'm going to show you very quickly what this is.
The new feature of video gives you an excellent tool to give feedback to students. You just have to click in an activity, the three dots, then edit. You will be in the canvas of the activity, and then you can click here in video. Now, the camera is going to be there.
That's me.
So I am going to record a little something for Michael. Hola, Michael. La fecha en español es el número primero y luego el mes. Ejemplo. Dollar.
So
You can,
once you add it,
20.
the video is going to be there. And this is new, and you can add a video. And this is wonderful because you can use it to feedback to say how wonderful someone did or specific, you did this and that. Or you can also correct like I did now. And the good part is that I can add another example or write something. And that is a great way of individualizing and making sure that you're giving the right feedback. But there are other ways of giving feedback that I love in Seesaw. You can write a message like here, excelente trabajo. You now, just like you upload pictures, you can upload stickers. So create a folder, put a lot of Bitmojis or stickers that say different things that you constantly use, and you have it there. It's really easy. You just upload it and there it is. Another great thing is that in Seesaw, you can do a voice message. And that, just like it was wonderful to hear my students' voice, I am hoping that it's wonderful for my students to hear my voice. So in this case, for example, I did the Bitmoji classroom. And one of the things that I can suggest is that I did it after a couple of lessons as a review. And I gave teachers the option, I gave students the option of selecting the activities they wanted to do and to tell me which ones they like. It was wonderful because it was surprising to see what some students like versus what others like. And of course, if you know me, I love dancing, so you can hear, you can see here that I added one of the songs that we usually do as a brain break, as a dance break, brain break at class. And this is what one of my students told me. Let me play.
Mi favorito actividad es bailar.
Muy bien, Ryan. En español, perfecto. A mí también me encanta bailar y es mi actividad favorita. Adiós.
So sometimes those conversations can go back and forth. So just be aware of that. And the other thing is that you can add emojis. And usually students enter through iPads, so you can receive a lot of emojis. And that is really amazing. The last of the ideas that I'm sharing today with you is that I am aware that our students are more time than the one we will like on devices. And the great thing that I think that Seesaw is giving me is the opportunity to do non-tech activities, but still document them in the platform for feedback, for having it there so we can see the progress of the students, and that is amazing. So for example, these two were completely non-tech activities, and they just took a picture and uploaded. But that gave me the opportunity to send a message, to say how great they were doing, and I think that you should have in mind that not all activities in Seesaw needs to be activities that are done in a device. This is a first grade, and actually this was done during school, at school. One of the things that I started doing is that those presentations at the end of the unit were done there. And it was wonderful because parents finally could see what the students were doing. And it was wonderful to see the reactions of the parents and also the reactions of the students when they saw comments of their parents saying how proud they were. This is a first grade presenting a ending project about La Mochila.
En mi mochila
Tengo.
tengo 5 lápiz, 1 tijera, 2 papel, 1 regla, 1 libro.
So there you see, and it was really cool. One of the other things that they were looking forward when we were at school is that they will record each other and then we will all share and see those presentations. This is an example of a second grade project that was also non-tech. They cut, they paste, they glue, they color, but then instead of presenting in front of the class, they did it on Seesaw.
Chorizo, no me gusta. El frito, no me gusta nada. Aguacate, no me gusta. Me encanta. Plátano maduro, no me gusta. Arepa, más o menos. Chorizo, no me gusta. Frijoles, no me gusta nada. Carne.
So there you have, and I have to say that it's wonderful for me, it's wonderful for them, they feel really proud, and it's wonderful for parents to receive that once you as a teacher approve it. Now, this is something that I did, and it took me a lot of work for you to see all of the different features that Seesaw had. And of course, 2 days ago, they released the official one, very nice and very clean, but I am sending you both because it took me a lot of time to do this. So here you're gonna have in your resources, this that is actually created by Seesaw, where you can see all of those features and how to use them. Now, why I love Seesaw. Seesaw is very easy to use for everyone and still packs in-depth language features. I think that for students it's easy, for me as a teacher and for parents it was a great tool for teaching, practicing, assessing, giving feedback, and also having that opportunity that Seesaw gives you, that Seesaw can grow with them as they grow in their proficiency path. Seesaw can be accessed through multiple devices, including a cell phone app. So be aware that sometimes you at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock approve an activity and parents are commenting on them because it's very accessible if they have the app in their phones. Seesaw integrates with other apps and websites. As I said, I am focusing on one thing, and this is the tech tool that I am committing to use so I can learn and grow and be proficient. And I want my students to feel the same way. I am not using all sorts of things because it gets confusing, it's a lot. But the good thing that Seesaw has is that if your students, you did a video in Puppet Pulse, they can upload it. If they did a video using Chatterbox, they can upload it. And that, and the features that you can upload YouTube videos and you can connect with so many different things is amazing. It facilitates individualization and allows for personal feedback, as you saw in the video of Michael. And the platform centralizes its various features all in one place. Another thing that goes with the language feature, and I want to let you know, I haven't tried it, but I saw in one of the videos of the new feature is this. If you, for example, have a parent that speaks another language and the app is in a phone or in an iPad, and that device is in their native language, the comments that you as a teacher are doing can be translated to their native language, which is an amazing thing. Tips. As I said, make sure you see how to lock and unlock the images when you create in the canvas, because one day I went in and my activity was all over the place because I didn't know how to lock, and my students just did whatever they wanted with the things and the objects that I uploaded. The other thing that is important here is that we as world language teachers upload a lot of videos from YouTube. At least I do, with songs, authentic resources, videos. It is important to find a safe browser before you link that video so students don't open in YouTube and access inappropriate things. And be mindful. I am almost done. In Puerto Rico, we say, no aprende de cabeza ajena. And aprender de cabeza ajena means that you learn from other people's mistakes. So here we are going to learn from my mistakes or the things and challenges that I have that I can share with you. One of that was that if you are like me that teach multiple levels, be mindful of the level of complexity in relation to the age and the tech level of your students. Yes, my kindergarteners cannot do what my second graders do. And, you know, I learned that the wrong way, because when you are creating, you might be, you know, just forget and do a little more complex activities than the ones they are ready for. Be mindful of the amount of activities you are sending to your students daily. And I have to admit that one time during distance learning, I had 144 notifications and activities to approve. And it took me a long time. So be mindful of that. This is very important. At what time you will push, and this is when you send that activity, because you can create an activity and it's different to send the activity. One time I created on Sunday the activity and I sent it forgetting that it was not due until Thursday. And by Thursday, all students did it and it was done wrong because my class was not they were not ready to do it. At the same time, I want you to know that creating the activity and assigning the activity is not the same, okay? If you teach like me early language learners, be mindful that they need a lot of space because usually they are writing with their fingers, and be mindful of cognitive overload, okay? Now, this is my last slide, is food for thought. Make sure that you use Seesaw like any other resource. Be mindful and use it wisely.
So Glenda, you had some questions.
Great.
They wanted to know about, hold on, I lost the questions here, the chat. So one of the questions was about if first graders had access and knew how to navigate all the features.
So I want you to know that in my school, we use Seesaw before distance learning, and they use it in some other classes. So I have a couple of suggestions for you. One would be to partner with classroom teachers if they are also using the platform. For example, I talk with the STEAM or tech teacher all the time, and she will tell me, first grade already learned this. So that was helping me not go through the process of teaching it myself in order to use it to teach. However, if you don't have that option of partnering with a technology teacher, then my suggestion would be to introduce the features one by one and make sure they are proficient in how to use one thing, test it with content, and then move to another feature.
Okay,
I hope that
perfect.
answers the question.
Yes, I think the question is answered. We pick it to another one. Of course, they wanted to know if the Zoom will be recorded and sent to everybody, which is yes. Correct. And the other one is about, they wanted to know about the videos that are like tutorials, if you will be sharing that with everybody.
Yes, I am preparing a long Google slide that is going to have all the resources that I talk, mention, or did. Plus, I am adding a curated list of videos from YouTube, from other educators that you can access for all the different things that I didn't discuss, like how to create a class or how to upload students or different things. I know that Seesaw has all of that, but sometimes having so many options is overwhelming. So I did a curated, list of videos. Also, I am going to add some activities of other teachers that I think that might be helpful, with links to either the Seesaw or the teacher account, so you can follow and learn. And please make sure that if you have any doubt or any question, you contact me. I'm gonna actually make sure that you have there my contact, just in case you need to reach for any of your questions. Vicky, are there more questions?
Yes. Are the Seesaw supports available in Spanish?
The Seesaw, as you saw, well, maybe, I don't know if you saw, but you can use it in the language that you want. And then, for example, you can write the instructions in Spanish, and you can upload the videos or the resources you need in Spanish. And the platform will be useful for whatever language you teach.
Okay, perfect. We are running out of time because it's 6 p.m. and I see that there are some questions that are coming into the chat now. So I assume you'll be able to answer them in this folder that you will be presenting to everybody. Is that right?
Yes, in the folder that is going to have all the resources, I'm going to add a document that it's going to have the option for you to write a question, and I will visit frequently so I can answer those questions. Other teachers can come and interact with the questions as well and give instructions. As I said, I am not the one that knows the most, but I am here to help if there's anything that I can share.
And I assume if everybody is using the hashtag SeesawWL, you can be answering questions so everybody can access them there as well.
Yes.
You have already answered some questions in the GWATFL Tips website, YouTube channel. So there are many options for people to reach out to you and have their questions answered.
I have a question here, and I'm gonna really quick. I know that is it difficult to use Seesaw with Chrome in second grade, for instance? No, actually, I use Chrome as a teacher, and my school uses Chrome. My students have Chrome. It's not difficult. And you can also use it with iPad, and it's very easy. Seesaw is very friendly.
Okay, so Glenda, thank you so much for your time. And
thank you to everyone for coming.
Invaluable information with the GWATFL community. And now I'm sending it to Luis.
Oh, and we will send the resources tomorrow.
Hopefully tomorrow.
Hopefully tomorrow.
Well, thank you so much for that fantastic presentation, Glenda. I learned in my small group too that there are lots of teachers who were just given the news that they will be using Seesaw without much warning or training. So I think this is going to be very useful. So I think it's maybe a good idea to start some sort of like maybe support group just for language teachers, I think. So we can be in touch with that. I think it's a great, thank you so much for offering your experience and expertise. I know there's a lot of anxiety about using a tool for those teachers who have never used it before, especially if it's a requirement. And you know, I know that there's been a lot of new tools to learn, and now a new one right before starting without ever using it before. It could be very frustrating and intimidating. So we'll be in contact and having more communication. And of course, please send your questions. We can use social media as well, Twitter, and then see what else we can do, especially about all of those teachers who have so many questions, and maybe we can do another session soon, depending on some particular questions or needs that teachers could have. So on behalf of the GWATFL board, thank you so much for all of you for attending. And I want to thank again all of those supporters, anyone who donated for this session to happen. Thank you so much for your donations.
Thank you to everybody, and I hope that we can keep in contact. Okay?
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.